Aggie land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs Radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuno and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Since Prince was on Apollonia. Since OJ had isotoners.
Happy Friday morning to you, Aggies. It is 8:06. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I'm Dalton Hughes in this morning for David Nuno as he finishes up his vacation this afternoon. He'll be back Monday. Let's set the scene here before we get to our hour guest, the usual Olin Buchanan. Everyone else in this office, outside of like me, Sam, and Zoe, it seems to have all migrated to the social center, or to Omaha, Nebraska. Emily Fiedler, social center in Omaha. Kay Nagley, social center, Omaha. Ryan Broninger, Jamie Murray, Olin Buchanan, Richard Zane, Omaha. But today on the show, we got the Go Hour with OB. We'll do a couple segments with Olin. We'll bank on it. We'll hear from Ryan Broninger and his conversation with Dylan Rock, Jack Moss, and Austin Bose from earlier this week. And then an hour of the baseball bunch. We'll talk the Omaha 8 every which way possible with Ryan Broninger and Richard Zane joining me from Omaha. At 10:05, Richard will stick around. We'll do Around Aggieland. At 10:20, the Aggie baseball historian, Mr. Scott Clendenin, will join us, and we'll talk Omaha and what this 7th trip means for the program. And then we'll close it out 10:35. Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio, the Aaron Torres podcast, and that will end the week for us as we are all leading up to Texas A&M versus Oklahoma, Game 1 of the 2022 Men's College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And joining me right now from somewhere in Middle America, and not somewhere at a place that serves liquor anymore, but I think they were there all night, Mr. Olin Buchanan. OB, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing better than anybody else from the TexAgs crew this morning.
I was thinking about what we're going to do, and I think, part of what we're sending you guys there is we're doing content, and I think the content that people want to know is, what did the TexAgs gang do last night? Because I'll tell you this, I was getting videos sent to my phone up until about 1 o'clock this morning.
Well, what we did was we took in the very wholesome environment of the opening ceremonies of the College World Series until rain and lightning became a threat, and everybody left in the stadium in a very orderly fashion. And then we went across the street to establishment known as Lefties. And from there, everything went to hell.
I mean, I got videos of Olin Buchanan singing George Strait. I got videos of Olin Buchanan spitting game. I mean, it looked like quite the night in Omaha, Nebraska.
Spitting game? There's videos of me spitting game.
I mean, you were talking to Richard, and it looks like you were getting into it with him, so I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was the only one who was not partaking of spirits and adult beverages.
Well,
I was the designated driver.
That's because you're a responsible adult, and compared to the other people that you're there with, I believe that. As I see over your right shoulder, we've got Mr. Clean on the couch.
On the couch,
scrolling his phone.
And as I was saying, even though I'm 60, and even though I'm the old guy, I hate to be, the party pooper, but I said, damn it, at 1 o'clock in the morning when Broninger is singing and blaring music, somebody has to stand up and say, turn that crap off.
I mean, I believe it because I've experienced Ryan Broninger in those situations, and he gets in. He is the king of the YouTube rabbit hole.
But it wasn't just him. Oh. You should have heard watch Jamie and Richard singing and to these vulgar lyrics from some song and dancing moves that I didn't even know existed. And I thought, kids today.
So, Olin, last night you could have been from the town of where they filmed Footloose. You were like, stop the dancing.
I was the dad from Footloose that doesn't want anybody to have any fun.
OB, I know it got shortened because of rain and weather and all that in the area, but how cool did the environment seem to be around the beginning? I know they did the little parade at the opening ceremonies. It seemed like quite a few people came out. We've heard about the town of Omaha supporting this event, and that seemed to be the case last night.
I mean, it was nice. I personally have to admit that parades typically just bore me. It's people walking down the street. But it was funny because there was a bunch of guys, older guys, in my demographic. And there's this blonde woman. I don't know who she is. And she was marching with the Aggies, and, quite attractive. And when they passed, all these guys were saying, I'm an A&M fan now. I'm rooting for the Aggies. And one guy says, I think I'm going to enroll. So I don't know who she was, but she made an impression and represented A&M well.
I'm glad to know that Olin, it doesn't matter the state, he's always got his eye out for talent.
No, I was just there witnessing the reaction by the locals. So anyway, A&M added at least 4 more fans for today.
And then if any of them talk to you, we may have gotten to 4.5, maybe 5.
I came to the conclusion that Texas is the University of Texas, or Texas University, however you want to say it, is the most reviled program here, because they have their fans that are rooting for them, but somebody's yelling when they come out, expletives, and so many people that not necessarily Aggies, but other people doing the horns down thing. But I will say, I think there needs to be a certain amount of class shown, and neither Richard Zane nor Ryan Broniger could do that. When somebody with their burnt orange walks by and they're not causing any trouble, you don't need to be the one to start yelling at them or telling them that their colors reminds them of baby excrement. And then, like I said, Richard Zane's yelling at people, and I have to remind him that he's done some things in his life, his short life, that maybe he regrets too. So,
Richard has 2 drinks and he gets real loud.
Richard went psychopath last night.
Well,
I didn't even know a young, upstanding Jewish kid could act like that. He went full blown nuts, man. I say, Richard, dude, remember when you did this? And next thing I know, he's throwing down his drink and screaming out loud like he's raising his hands up like he's Tim Robbins in the Shawshank Redemption, having just escaped prison. He was crazy.
So night 1 of the TexAgs trip to Omaha, Nebraska checked just about all the boxes that I thought it would, is what you're telling me.
It checked some boxes, I guess. Yeah, it checked some other things too. And guys were ragging on Richard because there was this pretty girl sitting close by just waiting for him to talk to her, and he wouldn't. He got all I guess shy or something all of a sudden. I don't know,
OB, you got to work with him. I know you used to run things back in the day. Maybe this can be some like father-son bonding time for you and Richard, and you can teach him the ways of the world.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I really am trying.
I'm good. I'm proud to hear that.
I learned some things about him I didn't know, and maybe he's at the point of no return.
Well, wait, on the point of no return to being a man, or the point of return to being a dereliction?
There's some serious dereliction going on.
All right, OB, let's go back to the baseball a little bit while you guys are really there, not there to party, which seems like what you handled last night. Yesterday morning, press conferences at the stadium there in Omaha, Nebraska. You guys heard from Jim Schlossnagel, Troy Claunch, I believe Nathan Detmer, and then you guys heard from the Oklahoma contingent. So anything that stood out to you?
Stood out? Nothing really stood out. I thought the Oklahoma coach was kind of a wise guy when he was asked if their big lefty was going to start. Jake Bennett And, he said, I've got a cowboy hat that my dad gave me. And I'm just going to put names in it and draw somebody out. Why don't you just say, nah, it'll be a game time decision,
does that surprise you with who he's a disciple of?
Isn't he an Aggie guy?
He's an Aggie guy.
Yeah, Aggie Garrido guy. Aggie was a nice guy. I liked him. I used to see him at the bar in Sullivan's in Austin quite often. But anyway, I thought it was interesting that Jim Schlossnagle said that he really considered making some changes in the starting lineup. I'm in starting pitching. He considered not starting Nathan Detmer. He was looking at, well, maybe go to somebody else in the bullpen. But, I don't want to give the wrong message to the team. And let's not forget that in April, Nathan Detmer gave up 5 earned runs the whole month of April while pitching against Vanderbilt, who's almost here, Arkansas, who is here, Alabama, who should probably have had a chance to get here, Kentucky, which should probably had a chance to get here, and what was the 5th one?
They play Auburn in April. They played Auburn in April.
Well, maybe it was Auburn. No, it was Georgia. It was Georgia. So in that month, he gave up 5 earned runs. Now, then he got the blister.
Mm-hmm.
And that interrupted all of his momentum, all of his dominance. And he really struggled in May and part of June. He's been getting a little bit better. And now, he said, hey, that blister's completely healed. He's changed shoes. So the point is, while he has struggled in the last month or so, he does have the ability to pitch at a high level. And, maybe this atmosphere is going to be, the trigger for him to, get back into that April form. And Lord knows the Aggies are hoping so. But, I think we know the key to that is keeping the leadoff batter off, because Oklahoma can turn a walk into a double just like that.
Yeah, Oklahoma, another one of those teams that likes to wreak havoc on the bases. A&M has seen that already this postseason when they played Louisiana. Matt Deggs here at Olson Field at Blue Bell Park during the College Station Regional. I agree, though, Obi. I think you're looking at like a Nathan Detmer start, and I understand why you stay with him, right? Like we've seen it from this guy. It's not like you're hoping it's not something you've ever seen. We've seen it from this guy this year.
Ain't it? Again, in April, he had developed into a bona fide ace, and then he started having the trouble with the foot, and he just wasn't. I think his ERA after April, those games after April, figured it up last night. It was like 8.7.
Jeez.
But his last 2 games, he hadn't gotten out of the 5th inning, but he's gotten there. Whereas some of the games before that, he couldn't get out of the 1st or 2nd. So he's been making progress. And, now with a week to heal, almost a week to heal, additionally heal that foot, maybe he'll surprise us or maybe it won't be a surprise, but maybe he'll come out and pitch to the level that we know he's capable of. Because when he was, those were good offensive teams that he shut down back in April. So he definitely has the ability. He just got to return to form, and we all hope he does.
I'll say this, Obi. Have you ever dealt with a blister like that on your foot?
I've had blisters on my feet, but I don't have to be, competing against high-level competition with a blister on my foot.
When I see you, I think peak athleticism. What are you talking about?
I just got to walk around the block or down to get the mail, and that will sideline me. But, and mine may not be strategically located. I understand Broniger was explaining this to me yesterday because, let's face it, he's an expert on foot blisters. He was explaining to me that this blister was located on the ball of his foot behind the big toe on his right foot where he pushes off. So every time he took a step and pushed off to throw a pitch, it's it's like getting a shooting pain, and it affected him, obviously.
Obviously,
but it's helping. And I think Broniger has probably examined the foot and given his okay. So our TexAgs staff podiatrist is confident.
I'm glad that Dr. Braun is on the case. We'll be all right.
Dr. Braun.
That's right. It's TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. When we come back, more with OB and OB. We're going to knock out bank on it, so consider this your weekly warning to get your bank on it queued up on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Hey guys, talking about Milliken Reserve right now, and they are a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got wide open spaces. Great place for kids, too. Kids love hanging out there at Milliken Reserve if they're going to Camp Milliken or they're just wanting to be out in nature, live there, enjoy the nature that they have out there. They are dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community. 2,600 acres of open space, farms, trails, and homes. They've got it all out there. They connect families to natures and to each other. That's the beauty. And that the network of trails there, extensive network of trails, I should say, throughout a beautiful wooded landscape that has walking paths, equestrian paths, creeks, ponds, and gathering areas. They're committed to maintaining and restoring that natural habitat. You've got to go check it out. It's such a beautiful place to go hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking. They got the equestrian trails, the evening yoga, the summer camps, the music festivals, the farmer market tours, the farm tours. It is Milliken Reserve. Check out and learn more at millikenreserve.com. That is millikenreserve.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Bush Library invites you to their next summer film series featuring Atlantis: The Lost Empire. This Friday by the pond, games and food start at 7. The movie begins at sunset. The Brazos Bluebonnet Quilt Guild is excited to host a judged quilt show at the Brazos County Expo this Friday and Saturday. Go online to bbquiltguild.org for more information. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents Disney's Newsies. Performances run June 10th through the 26th. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Texas A&M is hosting an international collegiate robotics competition at the Memorial Student Center June 25th through the 27th. Come watch teams from all over the world compete. For more information, go online to tamurobomasters.com. The Zone is social. Are you? You can find us at Zone 1150 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, follow, join. Get connected to The Zone and be in the know. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Experience life and save at Moody Gardens. Introducing Rainforest of the World Dynamic Dwellers. As small creatures are doing big things in the Rainforest Pyramid. Dip into coastal life at the Aquarium Pyramid, Palm Beach, Beats on the Beach, the Colonel Paddle Wheel Boat, and dinner cruises. This August, have the time of your life at the Island Rideout and Bike Expo, Air Car and Boat Show, and a Dive Expo. Save with a value pass to Moody Gardens attractions, hotel and golf packages, and enjoy free Saturday fireworks. Island life at its best. Save at moodygardens.org.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Park at Tradition's Exceptional Senior Living, First Financial Bank, and Cooper's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on The Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs Universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan Newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
$8:24 on a Friday morning, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I'm here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB is in Omaha, Nebraska at the College World Series. By the way, you can text the show or call in on on either the BCSI hotline or the A&B text line. Same number, 979-693-1150. No one in the social center today, but I will handle your texts, your tweets, your calls, whatever you've got. OB, I see you ready to roll. What do you got?
No, I'm just wondering, are you having Richard on anytime today?
Yeah, he'll be here from 9 to 10:15.
Yeah, just a suggestion. His bumper music for now should be that song, Jenny, I've got your number.
Okay.
That should be his bumper music and his walk-up music for the rest of his life.
All right. Well, I don't know what that means, but I trust you.
You know what?
You are musically inclined like few I know.
Oh, he seemed to got upset and he went storming into his room.
All right, OB, we're here in the Go Hour. OB, let's talk about this. It seems like the more I watch and listen to this A&M team talk, and they should be, but man, that is a really, really confident bunch. Not cocky, but they seem like a confident bunch.
Yeah, and I think that's really been the strength of this team. The chemistry, the confidence. We talk about the resilience and grit, and they've won in so many different ways. And why would you not be confident? Now, I don't think they're a team that feels like that. They can just go out and win a game easily. I think they've learned, but I think they're a team that always feels like they're going to win, even when they don't. They feel like they're going to come back, because aren't they always coming back?
Yeah,
it seems like. Sure would like to see a game where they just get off to a huge lead and keep it. But I've always joked that you don't feel confident until they're behind, and then they storm back. But that's a team that they all know they're good. Everybody brings something to the table, and they've been able to overcome so much. So why would you not be confident?
And it seems like we talk about that confidence, and especially here on this stage, which is one that is unlike any other in college baseball. I wonder if they're taking a lot of their cues from guys like Troy Claunch and Jacob Palish, who have been there before on different teams, but they've been in Omaha before and they've played in the College World Series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that helps, and they have some things to tell them and advice and all that kind of stuff. But I think that confidence was just built over bouncing back from a rough start and being 6-4 against teams that are here over the course of the season, and getting down by 9 runs to South Carolina and winning, and being down by 6-1 to Alabama and coming back and winning, and having beaten Texas and having beaten a team like Texas State that could have been here, and just again overcoming the odds, getting healthy, all those things. I think there's just I think that confidence just grew over time. And then again, these guys know they're good players. Dylan Rock knows he's a good player. Austin Bose knows a good. Jack Moss, I mean, he's hitting 390. So I think that qualifies him as a good player, So I just think that confidence has grown over the course of the season, and it's at a peak now.
It seems, I think you're right, though. I think that it's the peak. That's the way to put it. Where this team started, what we thought they were going to be, and maybe that plays into a lot how I think about them. I think of what I thought they were going to be. It's probably start time when we just identifying this team as what they are and what we've seen with our eyes for the past month.
Well, what do you think they were going to be?
I thought they were going to be like what everyone's. I thought they were going to scratch their way into the tournament. I expected them to make the NCAA tournament. I thought
probably
they were going to
not a regional.
I thought they were going to go to a regional, and someone was going to be like, "Man, we got to play this team with that coach in our regional." And they're a 3 seed in our regional. They came out of the SEC. They made the tournament, and that's what they were going to be. And what's funny is they're that team that fights and claws. They don't win in maybe your traditional way. And you look at them, and you still got some teams saying, "Man, we got to play that team now." They
talk about confidence.
Yeah, they had that underdog mentality of a team that was a 5 seed.
Right. They have an underdog mentality, and yet, they're one of the highest seeded teams here, based on who got here from the different.
The second
regions,
highest,
right?
the only higher one being Stanford on the other side of the bracket.
But dang, Texas State was so close. But so yeah. And why would you not have a lot of confidence knowing that you won the West Division? And there are 4 teams from the West Division. And more than half of the division you won is here.
Yeah.
Right. And you won it. So, there's another reason for confidence. There's all kinds of reasons to look at what you've done and say, why not? Why not us? They're going to have to play well. They're probably going to have to play better defensively than they have at times. But definitely going to have to get better pitching than they have at times. But don't you just expect Dylan Rock and Austin Bose to come up to the plate with guys on base?
Yeah, I do.
When you got Werner and Moss hitting in front of them, don't you just expect those guys to come up? And then when you got a number 7 and 8 hitter like Minnick and Thompson that have not only hit well but hit with power, why wouldn't you feel confident of putting some runs on the board?
All right, we'll do bank on it here in a second, OB. First, I got a couple of over-under questions. I know you're a fan of the gambling persuasion, so I'll say this. If I said today against Oklahoma, Jack Moss over-under hits at 2, where are you going?
Over-under at 2?
Yeah.
Well, that would mean 3 if you took the over.
Right.
So, I'll take
2.5. 2.5.
I'd still take the now, if you said 1.5, that might be, I might take the over. But, I mean, you're asking somebody to go out and hit, get 3 hits against probably a guy who's, from what I understand, is expected to be drafted in the top 3 rounds, maybe the first. Then, I mean, if I go 2 for 4, I would just hit 500. I've had a heck of a day. So I would have, if it's at 2, I'd have to say under.
Okay. And then the other one I had for you was Nathan Detmer innings. Over or under 4 2/3?
I'm going to say over, dadgummit.
There we go.
He's due. He says his foot is, never been better, I guess, since April. And he's been showing signs of progress. You said, again, 4 2/3. Well, he's gotten 4 2/3 or 4 1/3 in his last 2 starts. So he's getting closer. So, by gosh, I'm going to say over.
Over from Olin Buchanan on Nathan Detmer innings at 4 2/3. OB, right now, we'll close out our time with you this morning. It's time for Bank on It, presented by Vera Bank, authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. You can learn more at verabank.com. OB, what are you banking on?
Well, I think it was last week, the Aggies meat of the order that 3, 4, and 5, 6 didn't hit for a very high average. I can't remember. I don't have what it is right now, but I know it wasn't what it usually is. And, I think big-time players come up big in big games. So I'm going to bank on that, Rock, Boast, Targach, all those guys really bouncing back and hitting the ball the way we have accustomed to see those guys come through. I don't think you're going to see them go, what was it? If they get the bases loaded 5 times, yeah. I don't think they're going to go 0 for 4 in the first 4, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for those guys to really bounce back and hit the way that I'm banking on, that they're going to hit the way we're accustomed to seeing them.
All right, you ready for mine? I'm going to put on my
I want to hear what you're banking on.
I'm going to put on my maroon colored glasses. So A&M plays Oklahoma today. They'll play again on Sunday, win or lose. But I'm going to tell you this right now. When David Nuno sits back in this chair Monday morning, the Aggies will be 2-0 in Omaha.
The Aggies will be 2-0.
2-0 in Omaha.
And that'll be awesome.
That's what I'm banking on. That's my bank on it here on a Friday morning.
I sure hope your bank is paying dividends come Monday.
I do too, and I hope you guys are there for a long, long while in Omaha. It seems like we're getting quite the content from the team there.
Well, we're getting something, but I haven't seen all the content because I was busy, producing my own. But the way these young derelicts are acting, if they're working as hard as they're playing, then everything's going to be fine with our content.
I believe that. OB, hey, thanks so much for taking the time to join this morning and the past couple. This may be the weirdest week of you not having vacation of doing the Go Hour. You only did 1 hour in studio. You've done phone 2 days, and now we're doing 30 minutes today, but you make it work no matter what, and that's why you're a true professional.
I'm a true professional. That's what all I've ever wanted to be, a true professional. Thank you. Thank you for that acknowledgement.
You're welcome. Hey, you going to get to see Kirk and Cedric this week? Are they there?
Not Ced's in Vegas, is in Las Vegas.
Oh.
So he wins. But Kirk's here. He was out with a local reporter, Tom Chattel, at the Wing Place Oscars last night. So we're gonna run into each other today. But I saw a good friend, Craig Way, from Texas Radio. We go way back, and I appeared on his show yesterday. So that was fun to see some old friends.
Very cool, OB. I'm glad you're there. Hope you have some fun. Have some fun for me. I'm here, but have some fun for me.
You know what'll be the most fun is watching seeing an Aggie victory today.
There you go. He's Olin Buchanan live from Omaha, Nebraska. When we come back, earlier this week, TexAgs baseball analyst Ryan Bronger sat down with Dylan Rock, Jack Moss, Austin Boast in studio. Why hear us talk about it when you can hear from the guys that are going to be on the field themselves? You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
It's like when they replaced Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince. David Nuno on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
VeraBank is open and we are excited to serve you in College Station. Hi, this is Erica Archer, Treasury Management Officer at VeraBank, and I specialize in helping businesses run their day-to-day operations more efficiently, saving you valuable time. Our team's job is to make yours easier. So give us a call or come by and see us off of Highway 6. At VeraBank, you have a team of genuine bankers on your side, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. VeraBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Family-owned Dixie Tire Company is your authorized Mastercraft and Cooper tire dealer. Need tires for your car, truck, tractor, trailer, lawnmower, or even your wheelbarrow? Dixie Tire Company has them. Need a certain brand of custom wheels or auto accessories or truck lift kits? Need a flat repair, tire and wheel rotation, or tire pressure sensor repaired or replaced? Dixie Tire can help. Serving the BCS for over 30 years at 301 West William J. Bryan Parkway, across from the fire station. Open Monday through Fridays until 6 and Saturdays till 1. Call them at 775 Tire.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Spent the whole last segment talking about how awesome Jimmy Johnson is. Now you're here.
As a kid, watching Jim Neighbors singing Back Home Again in Indiana, I would get the goosebumps. I'm not even from Indiana.
Gary Payton, Hall of Fame point guard.
For my son showing kids, it's not a big deal to have a disability. Just work through it and become the person you're going to become.
UConn women's basketball superstar Paige Beckers.
A couple years ago, this whole NIL thing didn't really exist. Doing it while inspiring the next generation of basketball players is awesome.
Three-time NBA champion Sean Livingston.
At the end of the day, we're all people. We play a game, but we're all dealing with real life, not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Cooper Cup Super Bowl MVP. I have to ask you about the McVay wedding.
The moment that stole the show was Sean and Veronica on stage singing California Love. After that happened, I told them, I was like, okay, well, we can go now.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. On a Friday morning, I'm Dalton Hughes in again for David Nuno, and we're getting you ready for Texas A&M versus Oklahoma in Game 1 of the 2022 Men's College World Series. And to help you do that right now, we want to hear from Ryan Broninger earlier in the week with Aggie baseball players Dylan Rock, Jack Moss, and Austin Boast right here in the studio.
All right, TexAgs, special stacked interview here today, an Omaha edition. I've got Texas A&M first baseman Jack Moss, outfielder, infielder, DH Austin Boast, left fielder Dylan Rock, and we're just kind of talking off air, Jack. It's kind of just unbelievable for a lot of people for y'all to be here, but you told me in one of these interviews, like, the belief never left, and now you guys are getting ready to board a plane to Omaha, playing for a national championship. I mean, what has this season been like from your perspective on the group?
Yeah, I mean, since the beginning, it's just been about keeping a close circle and just kind of blocking out the outside noise, keeping the blinders on, and just sticking together. And I think even at the beginning, we all knew what we were capable of doing, even through some of the struggles that we had. But, I mean, there was never for a second, nobody flinched. Like, everybody still bought into what we were doing. Everybody knew how good we were. And, I mean, it was just only a matter of time until we got it all clicking. And, it's just been a really fun journey with these guys.
AB, what was the moment for you when – I mean, we've talked about the LSU series being a big turning point. But was there a point or a game in the season where you went, okay, we've got something here, like we can do something special?
I mean, after Vandy, I would say because we went in there and Vandy, I mean, they're a good team, but we went into Vandy and – we really put a good beating on them, and really, I mean, I like you said, at LSU, I felt like it was a turning point, but after the Vandy series, to me, I felt like, dang, like, we're dangerous. Like, we're going to be tough to beat, and we're going to go a long way.
Well, and Dylan, it's funny because this is something that was being talked about on our message board. One guy brought up the turning point in the season was the Grand Slam in Austin, and, when you hit it, and you guys, end up winning the game, and he gets a cycle. I mean, I guess he's got better wheels than you, cycle. But just did you feel like it was starting to change then in Austin?
I think it was LSU, and we carried it into Austin right after that, and that's when we really figured out, wow, we're really good. This offense can do something really special, and we just kept rolling from there.
It's pretty wild too that you guys been so offensive all year. And you go into a super regional against a really offensive Louisville team. And, I mean, 1-run games, you guys scored 9 runs. Just talk about any of you. I mean, Austin, the job of the pitching staff, especially the bullpen.
I mean, like I said in the interviews before, like, we pick each other up. So, offense, like, I didn't have my best weekend. Jack hit really good this weekend. Maybe Brock didn't have his best weekend, but the pitchers, they stepped up big. Like, our bullpen, I mean, they were huge, and they're the reason we won this series, and couldn't thank them enough for sure.
Jack, what makes, as a left-handed hitter, what makes an at-bat against Palish, Moo, or Will Johnston so tough?
Oh, I don't even know if it's as a left-handed hitter. Those guys are just not fun to hit against. Yeah. I mean, well, Moo, I'll ask him sometimes after he gets done pitching. I'm like, hey, man, do you mean to throw me a cutter right there? He's like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it moved about 2 feet.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, that's good. And then it'll, like, cut, it'll sink. And then Pally, I mean, he's just he's the professor, dude. He just goes out there and just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, professional on the mound. And it's always he's in command of 3 pitches. And, I mean, it's just tough to hit against. And then Willie J, another lefty that we got, it's really deceptive as a left-handed hitter, so not really fun to hit against any of those guys.
I think Troy was telling me, like, there was some at-bats in the regional, and it may have been Lafayette. One of the Lafayette guys, like, turned around and said, dude, I can't even see that against Willie. So, like, I know it's got to be tough for just the deception like you mentioned. But then, Rock, I also want to ask about Brad Rudis, man, and what he's meant in the postseason for you guys. And then, in an enormous spot, Schloss goes out there and takes the ball from him and hands it to Palish. But What do you see about Brad that has made him such a big part of what y'all have done this postseason?
He's just really mature for a freshman. I mean, for anybody, he's just a mature guy. Goes about his business very professionally. Just a super competitive dude when he's out there on the mound. And he's just got pitches that he executes. He goes out there and just gets it done.
When Schloss goes out there to take the ball in the full count, did anybody have any kind of doubt?
No.
Well, not when I saw Jacob Polish running from the bullpen.
Well, I mean, it's almost like, okay, he's going to get Polish to throw a slider, right? I mean, that's what it was. That's why he was going out there. And, like, you'd think the Louisville hitter would probably know that, and he still gets a swing and miss over the top of it. Let me ask you this. The mound visit, because you would have been – I think you were a part of it, the mound visit before the last pitch. Did you go out there with Coach Yeski?
Yeah, I think – yeah, he just was trying to slow the game down.
Okay.
It was he just walked out and asked Pally what he's comfortable with. That's never a situation that, we all know how Pally can handle that situation. Mm-hmm. Coach Yeski knows that he can handle the situation. He just wanted to, I think, collectively get us all just breathing a little bit. I mean, everybody sees the guy on second base and understands the situation of the game and understands the magnitude of that final out. And he just, I don't know, he has a very calming influence about him. And when you see your coach walk out there that has all the confidence in the world in you guys, it just kind of brings you together that much more. So,
Jack, you had a great weekend. AB and Dylan, I mean, by your standards, it was productive. I mean, you drove in too in the winning game of the regional, and you had some big swings, a sac fly. But what did you guys think that Louisville did well against you?
Well, I know they mixed me really well, and most of their guys, to me, were landing all three of their pitches. And to be honest, they really never made a mistake to me. I probably had 2 or 3 pitches this weekend that I really probably could have done damage with. That one of them was my sac fly and one of them was my base hit. And really, other than that, they did not miss over the plate.
Dylan?
Same thing. It was just everything was corner, up, down. Nothing was over the heart of the plate, something that I could do damage with. So most of the time I'm taking those borderline pitches. A lot of them were strikes. They were really executing their pitches. And then it felt like I was always battling and down in counts, trying to win pitches.
And obviously you guys are going into a situation as an offense where, in game 1 of the World Series, you're going to see probably a first rounder. I mean, Jake Bennett's had a fantastic year at Oklahoma. How much is the talk more about the arm, or is the talk about y'all's processes during the week?
Process. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's still the same game. Doesn't matter who you're facing. You still got to throw it over the plate.
Yeah. And Dylan, like when you have the weekend that you did, is there frustration, or is it just, hey, we just go right back to work?
Nah, we won. That's all that matters. I tried to do my best to help the team win. That's all that matters to me. We got it done. So it's just on to the next game for me.
And I think we need to talk a little bit about the guys that really stepped up with you guys out, and Targo struggled as well. Mm-hmm. But Jordan Thompson, man, what has that guy meant for y'all's club?
It was huge. Huge, especially came up big with that home run. And he's always been crucial. He'll random little walk that's big, or a little double down the line. And his little spark plug is what we call him.
Yeah.
He gets stuff started.
Spark.
And defensively, I think he's been fantastic. I think, Jack, on the weekend, y'all played a much better brand of defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I think last time we talked, everybody was kind of getting honest about our defense, but I was like, man, like that's funny because everybody was getting honest about our offense for like the first month and a half, and Coach talked about it today, like we can beat you in literally any way, and that's what a good team does is we just find ways to win, and it doesn't matter. It's just, I mean, you want to talk about anything that the team does really well consistently, it's just heart and grit, and we just got to find ways on that day to get it done. So it was this weekend defense.
I wrote this in an article that went out last night. I said, when you look at the individuals on this team and how much a lot of y'all have overcome as individuals just this year, your move to second base, Trevor with the hamate and the oblique, and Cole having to play out of position. He's coming here to play second base, and he's played shortstop very well all year. And you go and you just look at Jordan Thompson's season and how all the stuff he's overcome. Individually, the stories are remarkable, but collectively, it's like legendary stuff. And it's like you guys have set a standard of a culture here. And Jack, you're for sure coming back. Like the leadership you guys have provided, where do you think that started? Is it off-season with Coach Mack, or was it something Schloss instilled, or was it just a collective of everybody kind of getting together at LSU?
I think it was even before that. I think everybody kind of experienced adversity, whether it be in life in terms of transferring schools or experiencing a bad year last year collectively or as an individual or dealing with injuries and all that stuff, like meeting everybody day one. Like the first time I met everybody, like I don't think I ever, like I instantly knew that everybody I talked to like was going to be my best friend. And like I think because of that is like every story that I heard, like everybody can relate to one another just in terms of like whatever the case may be, but we've all dealt with some sort of adversity, especially recently in the past couple of years. And I think that's what makes this team so special is like when you get guys like that, I mean, they're never going to give anything away because they know how hard it is, and they're always going to compete and they're always going to fight. And we have that on our whole entire roster.
Yep.
So,
and I think the epitome of that is obviously with y'all's captain and Troy Clonch. And I mean, what a weekend he had in Austin. Just when you get into the bottom of the ninth there in game one, as good as he's been and as good as he's been and as good as you've been, is there anybody else you'd want to play there than Troy?
I was actually on first base, and Targo came up in the bottom of the ninth. Targo got hit, and as I'm running second base, I was in my head, I was going, "Oh, we won! Like we won this game. I mean, Troy's coming up, and he's gonna hit a backside single, and we're gonna win. Like, that's gonna happen."
That's part one of Ryan Broninger with Dylan Rock, Austin Bose, and Jack Moss. We'll come back. We'll hear a little bit more from that and a couple of your texts on the A&B text line. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
All right, guys, Heritage Films time. My buddy Chance McClain there at Heritage Films. It's David Nuno. He gave me my start in radio years back, and he's just been so great to me. But he's got a new creation. It's called Heritage Films, and it's a chance to tell your family's story. So he teamed up with Michael Berry, who's a talk show host in Houston, years back when Michael's father was feeling ill. He wanted to have somebody tell his story. He called Chance because they're buddies, and he said, "Chance, tell this story." Well, Chance had such a great time telling that story and developing a relationship with the Berries. He's like, this is something pretty cool. So he started doing it for others, and he started Heritage Films. It's a documentary about your family, right? A Netflix-style documentary that details your family's origins. And it's something that I think your kids and your grandkids and their grandkids are going to be able to cherish for a long, long time. It is Heritage Films, the website, yourheritagefilm.com. Again, that website, yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Brazos Valley African American Heritage and Cultural Society is hosting the Juneteenth celebration in Bryan. Saturday morning, starting at 10, there's a parade from Kemp Carver Elementary to Sadie Thomas Park. Then you can stick around for celebration in the park from noon until 3. And Saturday evening from 6 to 10 is a blues fest in downtown Bryan. Stage Center Theater in downtown Bryan invites you to see Steel Magnolias, Robert Harling's play about 6 sassy women navigating life through the good times and bad. Performances run June 9th through the 25th. Purchase tickets at stagecenter.net. Award-winning storyteller Tony Simmons is speaking at the Brazos Valley African American Museum on Thursday, June 30th at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Spend Thursday with Louie and barbecue pitmaster Bryce Jones on the Louie Bellina Show presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Bryce joins Louie in the Charles Schwab studio every Thursday from noon till 1. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
¿Buscas un trabajo que importe? ¿Alguna vez pensaste convertirte en un salvavidas? Hurricane Harbor Splashdown está buscando personas que aman el agua y
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Big deals. Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
What's better, 0 degrees or 100 degrees?
You don't see anybody leaving California, Florida, Arizona, Texas to run to Canada.
I'm retiring to the North Pole next year.
They don't do that.
No.
No one leaves those places, especially in the winter.
It's getting a little hot here in New Mexico. I'm going to go up to Antarctica.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
Tracy Lawrence bringing you back on a Friday morning, 8:55 inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're not going to have any time to get more of Ryan Bronner's conversation in with the Aggie baseball players. You can check out that entire conversation at texags.com/stacked. Right now, I want to read a couple text messages on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. Tag and Taylor, so our Ags won the toughest conference/division in College World Series history, but seemingly the Sips are a popular national pick to win it all in a College World Series that appears to be anybody's tournament. It's baffling, but some things never change, so let's just go beat the hell out of them. That's Ag and Taylor. Travis tuning in. It's his 25th birthday. Happy birthday to you, Travis. And then Steve in College Station. I guess this is what happens in Omaha does not stay in Omaha. Yeah, an interesting first couple of segments with Olin Buchanan. It sounds like the TexAgs crew had fun last night. Updating you on the U.S. Open. I know we talked about it a lot yesterday morning. Aggie Sam Bennett currently sitting tied for 25th after carding a first-round 70 even par at the Country Club in Brookline, Mass. A solid day overall for Sam. He gets teed off again today at 11:41 a.m. there from Massachusetts. It'll be fun to watch Sam. I'm gonna have to go two-screen. I'm gonna have Sam on one and Aggie baseball on the other. Our golfer in the back, Sam Kamen. Sam, what'd you think about old Sammy B's performance yesterday?
I thought it was incredible. I mean, the shot that they posted on Twitter from, I think it was his fourth hole, par 4, and took a very, very aggressive line, stuck it to probably 3 or 4 feet and made birdie. And, I mean, he was just very consistent all day, two birdies, 2 bogeys. And par, like you said, par's a really good score, so you can't fault for keeping those big numbers away and try and keep a just even par. And when you can take a birdie every once in a while, take it.
You know, you'll know this. I don't think Sam's made a cut in a professional event that he's played, correct?
That's correct.
He's played in a couple, so he's eyeing making the cut right now. They're at the Country Club at Brookline, Mass., the 122nd United States Open Championship. He is of Texas A&M, and then right below him on the leaderboard, also tied for 25th, Travis Vick, another amateur, he from the University of Texas. At the top of the leaderboard, you got MJ Doffy at 5 under. He shot a 67 on round 1, and he's 2 under today. So lots of fun sports this weekend, man. You got the U.S. Open. You've got the College World Series. And when we come back on the other side of this break, it's Ryan Bronninger. It's Richard Zane, live from Omaha, talking College World Series. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'll never forget the day I decided to go out for the football team. Mr. Banks, the JV football coach and my history teacher, asked me to stay after class. I thought I was in trouble. He said, "Hey, Darius, have you thought about going out for football? I think you'd be great." Fact is, I never played football. Fact is, I never had anyone tell me I'd be great at something. So, with no experience at all, I signed up. And a week later, I padded up and was running drills on the field. I never was great, but playing high school sports was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was accepted by my teammates, and I learned that when someone believes in you, you can believe in yourself.
Encourage a student you know to take part in a high school sport. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
You can and listen to your favorite shows. Louie, Chip, TexAgs, or Paul Feinbaum online at RadioAggieland.com or Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan, Aggieland's home for sports.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. An employee of a propane gas supplier is in the hospital after 3 propane tanks caught fire yesterday in North Bryan. Bryan Deputy Fire Marshal Gerald Burnett says a flash fire started as the victim was filling tanks at WC Tractor at the freeway in Tabor Road. Burnett says there are 3 potential ignition sources. The fire was out before firefighters arrived. Burnett said there was some fire damage to the steel building, but not enough to close the business. It's been 2 years since a Bryan man was arrested by College Station police for taking almost $3,700 of tires from a warehouse. The Brazos County District Attorney's Office and 59-year-old Kenneth Mooring entered a plea agreement that includes a 4-year prison sentence and paying restitution. A College Station police officer directing traffic away from Wednesday's crash that closed Harvey Mitchell Parkway arrested a driver for DWI with 2 prior convictions. According to the CSPD arrest report, an SUV was going so slow that other vehicles started going around. The officer learned from another motorist that the driver was passed out while the SUV was moving. After the SUV hit an orange traffic barrel and the officer was banging on the window, the driver woke up. After failing field sobriety tests, 30-year-old Garrett Fink of College Station was arrested. A WTAW listener receives a letter about a data security issue at CHI hospitals and clinics, which includes Bryan-based St. Joseph Health.
The identity theft was reported by the third-party company hired by CHI, Seattle, Washington-based MCG Health. MCG, assisted by the FBI, is looking for whoever took personal information that includes social security numbers, dates of birth, postal addresses, and telephone numbers. A St. Joseph spokesman provided no additional comment to MCG's letter. Bill Oliver, 1620, 94.5 WTAW.
For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Research shows listeners don't like it when ads interrupt their music. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, we made this ad optional. If you want to skip this ad, remove your left earphone. Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
If you're missing this informative ad, you must love wasting your cash.
It's the easy and smart way to save.
Now it's all been said, so if that earphone was out, put it back in your head.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Today is the day that Texas A&M baseball kicks off its College World Series run in Omaha. First up will be a showdown with old Big 12 foe Oklahoma, catcher Troy Claunch on the Sooners.
I mean, any team you face here is going to be extremely good. So he talks about it all the time. They're either really good, really hot, or both, right? And I would say that Oklahoma is both right now. So, you know, we'll dive into scouting report stuff more tomorrow. Not super caught up in it right now. The coaches do a great job of, you know, taking, and there's so much information you can gather, and the coaches do a great job of gathering all that information and feeding us the information that we need rather than flooding our brains.
Hopefully that scouting report proves true this afternoon when Troy and the guys square off against the Sooners at 1 o'clock. Broadcast is right here on The Zone. A&M All-American golfer Sam Bennett is tied for 26th place following round 1 of the U.S. Open. The senior from Madisonville fired an even par 70 yesterday at the Country Club in Brookline, Massachusetts. Bennett currently sits 4 strokes back of Canadian Adam Hadwin for first place. Round 2 gets underway today. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
It's 9:05 on a Friday morning. It is Aggie baseball game day. Texas A&M, Oklahoma, 1 o'clock. ESPN from the College World Series. And joining us now from Omaha, Nebraska, inside, I guess we're going to call it TexAgs Studio Airbnb, ? Richard Zane, Ryan Bronger, the baseball bunch.
This is the TexAgs Frat House North.
Ah, nice. Nice of you guys to join us. How are y'all this morning?
I've been better. My head kind of hurts, but other than that, I can't complain. There's going to be baseball played.
It was a lot of fun last night. We had a good time. It was good to have Olin around to chauffeur us and keep us on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to call it. If Olin's your guiding light, boys, y'all are in for a long trip in Omaha.
Well, we forgot that anything you tell Olin will go on air, or Richard forgot. So
I did. Unfortunately, that was a grave mistake on my part.
I love Olin to death. That's like,
I have regrets.
That's the one trait from 10 years that Olin took from Gabe. If you tell him, it's going on air.
I don't have any regrets about what I've done, but I definitely have regrets about what I've told Olin Buchanan.
There you go. That's one way
to put it. And at some point, we got 12 hours on the way home to reveal more secrets.
Oh, boy. Richard, you might just want to sleep.
We're on air, Olin.
You might just want to sleep.
No, we're not disparaging you. He just came out of his room. So the door swung wide open. I thought he was going to attack Broninger.
All right, guys, let's talk.
Wouldn't have been a very long fight.
Let's talk a little baseball with the baseball bunch here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner Jewelers. Guys, y'all were at the stadium yesterday. On the field, it rained in the afternoon, but kind of, as you guys did earlier on TexAgs.com, which you can check out after you watch the show, setting the scene, kind of set the scene here for our radio listeners.
Go for it, big guy.
I mean, talking to the players and the staff yesterday during their practice session, and this is an event that all these guys look forward to, obviously all year, but you go back to whenever these guys start playing travel baseball or youth baseball, and this is the epitome of their dreams. I mean, this is what every kid across the state of Texas, across the United States that plays youth and travel baseball, this is what they dream of, man. And these guys are here, and probably they're here, but don't tell them that, right? Because in their mind, and it's not their mind, they deserve to be here. They're the SEC West champions, the division in the strongest division in the strongest conference in America. They won. They deserve to be in Omaha. So as much as we talk about some of their shortcomings and how it's just improbable that they keep winning games, they absolutely deserve to be here, man. And, just that's the vibe that you got off of them yesterday. And, they talked a lot about managing the nerves. And then once the first pitch goes off, it's right back to playing baseball. So, I'm super excited for these kids. Obviously, this coaching staff, which, we believe will be back here numerous times. But these kids, man, like Austin Bose deserves to go to Omaha. You know what I'm saying? Like Dylan Rock deserves to go to Omaha. Jack Moss, Troy Clonch, who's already been here. But like we go down the list, and the way these guys have played all year, man, they deserve to be here. And I think they're ready to seize the moment.
Richard?
Yeah, I mean, it's special. Being here is special. Bronny talked about these kids when they started playing travel baseball wanting to come up here. I was once a kid that came here in 2009 just to go to a game of the College World Series. It's completely different, and to be down on the field was kind of a surreal moment for me. I know Broninger talks about, I can't believe this is work moments in this job, in this industry, and working at TexAgs. Yesterday was definitely one of those, just watching the Aggies take practice at Charles Schwab Field, Omaha, and then just to listen to Troy Clonch and Nathan Detmer and Jim Schlossnagel in the pregame press conference yesterday. It was pretty special. I know they're excited to be here, but they're not just excited to be here. They're trying to play to win a national championship. We talk about gravy and how everything this season, this postseason, is just gravy on top of what they've been able to accomplish. They don't look at it that way. They're here to win a trophy and to get some rings on the fingers, and they're taking it very seriously, much more seriously than I think we were last night.
Yeah, guys, I do want to say one thing. I know, Bronny, you wrote about this a little bit in the College World Series notebook. The playing surface was kind of different. Can you run us through that?
Yeah, it was at least different yesterday during the first two morning practices with A&M and Oklahoma. Now, I don't know if they weren't going to water the field all day, and so they had to get it prepped for 8 practices. But the infield dirt was, I'm just going to say it was overwatered yesterday for A&M's practice. So it affected how the infielders were able to take ground balls. They weren't allowing the kids to wear cleats and spikes on the field, which is understandable. But it was very soft. The infield dirt was very soft. You could see indentions being left whenever these guys were going to move to take ground balls or catch fly balls. And then the actual grass on the infield, it's a Kentucky bluegrass that I think was purposefully left a little bit longer because of the expected weather this week and because of the volume of games. And it's going to play slow. It played slow yesterday, and talked to one of the guys here that covers Texas, and he even noticed it especially with the grass. And Texas practiced later in the day, so the infield had a chance to dry out a bit. But the grass is definitely playing slower. You see it knock down balls in the outfield that are rolling. So I think that anytime that you can go 180 feet on a batted ball, I think that'll be a huge opportunity in games this week. And I also think free 90 feet. When you have a big ballpark and a slow playing surface, these free 90 feet, when you talk about errors, walks, hit by pitch, pass balls with runners on, inability to turn double plays, inability to hit cutoff men when the hitter gets to take an extra 90 feet because you miss a cutoff man, all those are going to be magnified because of the playing surface, because I don't see a bunch of big balls being hit this week.
Richard, let's take what Bronny just said about the field, the playing surface, the stadium there in Omaha. Let's apply that to what we know about A&M. How do you see that impacting their game both positively and negatively?
I don't know if it's a positive or a negative for A&M. To be completely honest with you, we know the ballpark plays big, right? This ballpark has always played big since they moved into it. So I think that is probably going to help A&M's pitching staff, but it also might hurt the long ball from A&M's offense. But as I mentioned this week, remember that 9th inning against TCU a couple weeks ago? They scored 7 runs without a long ball. So that'll help them. That'll play to their strengths. I think they're more gap to gap, and I think Jim Schlossnagle stresses that. We know Jim Schlossnagle stresses that in batting practice and stuff like that. But as far as the grass being longer and the infield being slower, A&M's infield defense is not very good.
It's fine. Their infield defense is fine. And I think that something to really watch today against Oklahoma is how does Nathan Detmer's two-seam / sinker play against an Oklahoma offense that's really aggressive in the batter's box, and they want to run. So, slow infield with a lot of ground balls, you'd think that would be in A&M's favor because you'll have more time to get there. But Oklahoma's got a lot of guys that can run. They're going to stress you in the home to first department on any ground ball hit, especially some of the guys at the top of their order when you're looking at Spikerman and Graham. I think that's something to definitely keep an eye on, is kind of what do Nathan Detmer's first couple of innings look like? Is he getting a lot of ground balls? Is he getting a lot of foul ground balls? Or is Oklahoma missing in the air and getting under that sinker? So that's one of the things that I'll be watching for early, is kind of Oklahoma's approach against Nathan Detmer's sinker and two-seam, and then kind of how A&M plays behind it, because I do expect him to get a lot of ground balls.
Ronnie, you rightfully so. I remember regional weekend here. We sat there and watched the Friday night game with you, TCU, Louisiana, and you said from the moment we sat down and we saw it, like on, I think, the first batted ball we saw when we sat in the ballpark, Louisiana got guys in motion. Is that a similar thing that Oklahoma does, but just maybe not to the Matt Deggs level?
Yeah, they're going to do they're going to play in a similar fashion with better players. No disrespect to Carson Rockerford or Heath Hood or any of those guys that played at Louisiana Lafayette, but Oklahoma's doing it with Peyton Graham, who's probably a big leaguer at shortstop, and John Spikerman, who's a freshman who he grew up playing for us at 12. And some of the best home to first times that we've ever had in our organization. And so, they're going to play in a similar vein. You got to remember who their head coach is Skip Johnson, right? And who did he learn under?
Aggie
Garrido. For the longest time, everybody in the country knew Aggie Garrido's bunt symbol, and he didn't care because he believed that if you got it down and executed, then it was gonna have the effect that it was intended. Like he was gonna move a runner up. So like Oklahoma is going to bunt. A&M knows that. Jim Schlossnagle knows that from all his years in the Big 12. But yeah, they're going to play in a similar vein. It's probably not as aggressive as Matt Deggs at Lafayette, but I do think that you're going to see them try to run. They've got over 100 bags on the year, stolen bases, and it's going to be another really important outing for Troy Claunch. And I think it's going to be, picking guys off isn't holding runners. Holding runners, people think that if you pick the first base, that's holding runners. That's not what holding runners is. Holding runners is varying your times, varying your leg lifts, picking on occasion. And so A&M will have to do a good job with that. But again, like Nate Yeske, he's been around this block a time or two, and he understands how to control all that. So I think A&M they can handle it, but Oklahoma is going to push the issue.
We talk about Nate Yeske. I believe he was there last year with Arizona, a guy that knows the scene. Everyone, it seems like A&M at key positions, they don't have a ton of experience in Omaha on the field, but you do have it with Troy Claunch. You do have it with Jacob Palish. It seems like they may have some experience in key points that we may see play out over their time in Omaha.
Micah Dallas as well.
Yeah.
Nolan Cain's been here a time or two with LSU, including as a player. I believe he won a national championship in 2009. You mentioned Nate Yeske. He was here last year with Arizona, but remember he won that 2018 College World Series with Oregon State. Troy Claunch was a freshman on that team. So they have experience playing here. They have the veteran leadership that will help keep them grounded. We talk about, Jim Schlossnagle mentioned it, I believe on radio on Monday, how he said that they do this little drill in practice where it's 3 outs to get to Omaha, and the guys always celebrate. But Troy Claunch says there's no dog pile on Super Regional weekend. There's only one dog pile, and that's in Omaha. I think that he's helping keeping them grounded, right? A guy like Troy Claunch behind the plate who's going to work with the pitching staff and really control a game. He's a veteran. He's been here before. He's not going to get lost in the moment. So I think that helps A&M a lot. Ron?
Yeah, that experience can be invaluable, and not only how they handle in-game situations, but how they handle moments with guys that haven't been here. And when and if Brad Rudis gets on the mound in a big spot and, he's looking at 30,000 people in the stands, I think having Troy Claunch back there to calm his heartbeat a little bit and kind of talking through some stuff, I think that certainly helps. So there are some really experienced Omaha teams here. Texas was here last year. Stanford was here. But A&M side of the bracket, having those guys, man, like first time Oklahoma's been here in what? 12 years. 2010. So yeah, 12 years. And then Notre Dame, first time they've been here since 2002. It's certainly going to help A&M in game with not only the moments, but also being able to talk guys through some situations.
All right, that'll do it for segment number 1, guys. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the field, the other 7 teams in Omaha. We've talked a lot of A&M, and then we'll get back keys of the game at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to TexAg. What's up, Bronny? What do you got?
So we're going to talk. We're going to talk about.
We're going to talk some Sunny D, some Arkansas, some Ole Miss. A very noted SEC flair there in Omaha. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Our good friends there at the Association of Former Students take care of Aggies, and they've been doing it for such a long time. We're talking over 140 years. Your financial gifts have empowered them to be here, to be there, to be everywhere, and they continue to give, like Aggie Park that's about to open there. That's a gift to the university. That's coming from the Association of Former Students. That's what they do. They give, they give, they give. The why is, they love sharing the Aggie network, and the power of it and helping people. That's their why. And that is why they've created IamTheWhy.com. This is where Aggies share their unique stories and perspective. IamTheWhy.com. You can hear the why and see the why and discover Aggies just like you, that they are the why. Go out there to IamTheWhy.com. Pretty soon you'll be able to upload your story onto it and share your story. Again, a great collection of stories, few minutes long, and you're going to love every second of it. It is IamTheWhy.com, the Association of Former Students.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Bush Library invites you to their next summer film series featuring Atlantis: The Lost Empire. This Friday by the pond, games and food start at 7. The movie begins at sunset. The Brazos Bluebonnet Quilt Guild is excited to host a judged quilt show at the Brazos County Expo this Friday and Saturday. Go online to bbquiltguild.org for more information. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents Disney's Newsies. Performances run June 10th through the 26th. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Texas A&M is hosting an international collegiate robotics competition at the Memorial Student Center June 25th through the 27th. Come watch teams from all over the world compete. For more information, go online to tamurobomasters.com. The Zone is social. Are you? You can find us at Zone 1150 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, follow, join. Get connected to the Zone and be in the know. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at radioaggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
Buds and Suds Auto Detailing would like to salute everyone who is serving our great country. To the men and women who have helped to uphold and strengthen all that is guaranteed to us through the Constitution. Our thoughts and prayers are with you as you defend our freedom. This message is from Josh and Jared at Buds and Suds Auto Detailing, featuring a mobile retailing service for cars, light trucks, RVs, boats, and motorcycles. They'll come to you. Call 979-318-2753. That's 979-318-2753. Buds and Suds Auto Detailing in Bryan, thanking our military this summer season.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on the Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs Universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan Newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone.
.922, it's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers on a Friday morning. Dalton Hughes in again this morning for David Nuno. Nuno back on Monday. I know everyone's ready for the professional to be back. It's been amateur hour all week long, and we go out to my amateurs out in Omaha, Nebraska. Guys, howdy.
Dude, I might throw up at some point.
Hey, it's Flapjack Friday, Dalton. Did you know that?
It's Flapjack Friday?
It is Flapjack Friday. I'm about to go eat me, not a short stack, a large stack.
Those are not keto. Those are not keto.
Well, cheat day.
It's cheat day, and we're on vacation. Well, I guess we're not on vacation. It's a
you guys are
trip.
partying like it's a vacation, that's for sure. Out
that
Omaha.
was Olin. He made up a bunch of stories in the first hour.
Yeah, he did.
You shouldn't listen to him. He's getting old. He's lost his mind.
You're mixing two different categories here. Olin is senile, but I also got Snapchat till about 2 a.m. yesterday. So which one do I believe?
No, I was asleep well before 2.
She was doing
us.
Camera wizardry. It wasn't really happening.
It was Jamie. She's good at Photoshop.
Yeah.
She is good at Photoshop. All right, guys, a couple texts.
Hey, Dalton. There is an establishment, a pub down the street from where we're staying, where you can, if you come up here, you can go join your fellow Reds fans and cry over Sadio Mane.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that right now, but I'm very #sad about that this morning. A couple texts on the AMB text line. JM in College Station says, love the Brawny analytics once again. Y'all need to take him golfing if he's going to give you a report about the grass like that.
I can't hit a golf ball with a golf club on a tee to save my life.
Well, that might be
It's just weird because I played baseball.
He's better at hitting moving targets.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
And then B in Austin says, are we going to get some tailgate content? I'd like to see Big Shooter out there doing some tailgate talks with that mullet. It might work.
What?
Dude, we're trying to – I mean, this is a content idea we kicked around in the office the other day, and I'm trying to do some all-access behind-the-scenes with the Omaha Zoo maybe tomorrow.
That would be fun.
I need Billy to come through with the hookups. Though.
I was disappointed they don't have a walrus.
Yeah.
If TexAgs can have a walrus, I think the Omaha Zoo should have a walrus.
10th best zoo, my butt, is what you're saying.
10th?
Is it the 10th?
It's got to be in the top 5.
It's behind H-Town, I know.
In the world. Anna said it was one of the top 10 zoos in the world.
Oh, really?
Oh, we took one of Anna's suggestions for dinner last night. It was all right.
All right. Continuing with the baseball conversation, guys, as we talked about at the end of last segment, we've got 4 teams, not from the SEC, from the SEC West in Omaha, so teams that we've all seen already play this year. What storylines are you guys watching from the SEC? Is it Bianco versus Van Horn? Or, they're not playing. Sorry. Sonny D versus Mike Bianco.
Oh, Sonny DeShera. We saw him yesterday during the parade.
What a glorious man.
Just a fan favorite up here in Omaha. And of course, a fan favorite inside the TexAgs frat Airbnb. That guy.
He's a perfect meatball. He is the perfect meatball of a man. But no, I'm really interested to see how Ole Miss plays, man. And you look at them from a talent perspective, obviously we know how good they are, right? The number 1 team in the country for a large portion of the season.
Time.
Not a large portion, but a few weeks in the season. Obviously, they hit a rough patch and last team in the field, and now they're in Omaha. And how they play, if they continue to play at the extremely high level that we've seen them do in the postseason, they'll make some noise on that other side of the bracket. I think they're the most talented team on that side. And I don't know if that means they're going to win anything, but I do think that it'll be that side of the bracket's full of a lot of intrigue because kind of the stories of all those teams, right? And that's not to disparage what A&M's been through or Notre Dame for that matter, or even Oklahoma, who's, Oklahoma hasn't lost a series since April 10th. A&M hadn't lost a series since April 4th. So there's a ton of intrigue, and you just kind of listen to the media, the gathered media up here talk, and it's everybody's saying that this thing's as wide open as any year they can remember. So there's a ton of storylines. There's a ton of intrigue in both brackets, but I think at 1:00, all the talking will be done, and we got to get to it and figure out who's going to play well. I don't think that the most talented team is going to win in the College World Series. I think the team that's playing the best this week is going to win.
Yeah, we're 3.5 hours first pitch on the 2022 Men's College World Series. I'm interested in watching Arkansas, right? Like we watched Arkansas go to that Stillwater Regional, which was probably one of the more bonkers regionals, if we're being honest, and then won that super regional there in Chapel Hill. I'm interested in see Arkansas. You talk about a talented team. They got Jalen Battles at shortstop. I think Arkansas is my team on the other bracket that I want to see how they do, and they open up with Stanford, the higher seed remaining in the tournament.
Yeah, outside of the A&M Oklahoma game today, the first round game that I'm most excited to watch, and I've already told Bronny and Olin and Jamie that I would like to go to the ballpark tomorrow night. I want to see Stanford and Arkansas. Those are 2 teams that have been here. They know what it's like to play in Omaha, and they're both looking to break through and win a national championship for the first time in a long time. I don't think Arkansas has ever won it.
They have not.
No.
And they've got a great head coach. They've got a really good team. And you mentioned Jalen Battles. I think probably the most talented player on that team, or at least the guy that
Caden Wallace is very good at third base.
I'm talking Robert Moore.
Robert Moore is obviously a great college player. Yeah, I think Arkansas, they've got the pieces, man. Every team here has got the pieces to win a national championship.
We talked about that. I talked about it a little bit with Billy yesterday, and he brought it up. He's like, man, if you told me right now that any of these 8 teams win, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. And I think that speaks to, A, how good of a spot college baseball is, and B, how much fun the next 10 days are going to be watching baseball, period. We know what we want to happen here, but period, it's going to be fun.
One thing you have to say about college baseball right now is that it's super saturated, right? Like there's more players in college baseball than there's ever been. And there's a couple of reasons for that, because you had the COVID where everybody got a year back. And then you had the expanded rosters when they went from 45 to 37. And then, kind of in that recipe has been the emergence and now prevalence of the transfer portal and how active it is. So you've got a ton of really talented college players. And then I completely left out the shortened MLB draft. And so you have more players in college baseball than you've ever had. Now it's making it really tough on young players, on freshmen, and then the incoming freshmen to kind of make some waves like they typically would. But you've got a bunch of 22, 23-year-old guys in college baseball that are having an impact on these College World Series teams. We've seen it at A&M. We've seen it at Auburn, obviously with Sonny DeShera. He's a 4-year transfer out of Sanford.
Ole Miss,
every
Tim
one of these
Elko.
teams is benefiting off the portal and off these expanded rosters. But, it's going to get really interesting at the end of next fall when they've got to cut the rosters from 35 to 27. What do you do with those 8 players? Where do they go? What does it do to the junior college circuit? So as a guy that's involved in travel baseball and in the recruiting side of baseball, the next 6-8 months are going to be super interesting to see how all this pans out and where the direction that baseball goes. But for right now, it's an old man's game.
It is an old man's game. And like I said, I kind of was saying it while you were going there. Tim Elko at Ole Miss. We've gone this whole time. We're talking about older players and guys that have come up big in big moments. We're talking about Tim Elko that last year played on no knees, and now he's back again this year. Got the Rebs in Omaha.
Yeah, I feel like he's been at Ole Miss for like 10 years. He's getting close to that 10 years of service time in college baseball. But Tim Elko, I mean, we mentioned that Ole Miss is a really talented team. They're very capable of winning it all. They're probably one of the hottest teams here. I mean, everybody's hot when you get to Omaha, but Tim Elko also promised the fans in Oxford a national championship before he headed up here. I don't know if he passed that with the mayor of Oxford himself, but Tim Elko is a guy who is perfectly capable of running balls out of this big ballpark.
Yeah, I don't know, Dalton. I could sit here and talk to you and make a really strong case on why every one of these teams in this field are going to win a national championship. A&M is no different than any of those other teams, but like if I want to sit here and make the case for Notre Dame, well, they just beat the best college baseball team that I've ever seen with my own eyes in a super regional. You're going to tell me they can't win in Omaha? You're going to tell me Texas, who was the preseason number 1 and super talented and has really found their footing in the back half of the season, can't win the entire thing? Yeah, you're crazy. Like, you could make those kind of cases for every team here. And so that's why I think this is probably the most intriguing College World Series that I can remember, because you've got really no head and shoulders clear-cut favorite like you had with some of those Vanderbilt teams or even that Virginia team way back when that had all those big leaguers on it. So it's going to be super fun to watch, man.
As we roll through the field here in this segment, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk more about Texas and Notre Dame. No matter how today goes, no matter what, you're going to be playing one of those teams on Sunday if you're Texas A&M. Talking about Notre Dame being, they just took down Tennessee. They just took down the bad boys of college baseball. We know what Texas is, but Bronny, can you give me like the short scout on both of those clubs coming here?
Yeah, Texas super talented, full of a lot of pro prospects and playing well together right now. They've found some pitching depth, which was kind of their Achilles heel in the middle of the season when Lucas Gordon stepped up in that number 2 starter role. Tristan Stevens is a 5th-year guy that's been around the block. He's pitching way better. So, their offense goes as Ivan Melendez and Murphy Staley and the guys, Skylar Messenger in the middle of that order as they go. Trey Faltini's their leader on defense. Very talented club, man. And just because A&M won a midweek game against them, that really doesn't mean too much. Both of those teams really emptied the bullpen that night in Austin. So, I mean, there's no kind of indicator on A&M playing Texas just because you won a midweek game. Notre Dame, I think they're very similar to A&M to me. I think they're playing their sum is greater than their individual parts. I really like their middle infield. I like their third baseman Brannigan as well. He's a super stud, man. And, kind of like A&M, Notre Dame's third baseman is their best pro prospect. And, but I think Link Jarrett, and we listened to him in his press conference yesterday, super impressed with him. Even with coaching rumors swirling here in Omaha about him potentially taking that job at Florida State, I was really impressed with how he handled the press conference and just spoke about his program and those kids. So, it's again, man, like, what do you want me to say? Like,
what you just
A&M
did.
can lose to every team here. A&M can beat every team here. It's just about being good on that day.
Richard, what have you seen from Notre Dame?
I mean, same thing Bronny did. Saw the same stuff yesterday.
Thanks for
analysis.
expounding and being an analyst there, Richard. Walker in Houston says
Bronny's the analyst. I'm just the writer.
Well,
writer. I'm not even the writer anymore. I've been relegated now that Olin's up here.
What do you think of his haircut?
Participate and play the game, Richard. We're trying to do radio.
What do you think of his haircut?
It's disgustingly filthy, and I would read Stephen McGee's text messages on air about it, but I don't want an FCC violation.
Not safe for work.
Yeah.
Not safe for work analysis from
Dalton,
Stephen
the
McGee.
way yours is getting, you could get there if you wanted to do that.
Yeah,
Problem
dude.
is,
Whoa.
the problem is mine doesn't go down; it just goes out.
You got a pretty sweet fat back, though.
I do.
Wow,
rock that
Dalton.
pretty well. That's no lie. I've got the fat back. You're right, but
Well,
I don't have.
We'll make a deal. If A&M wins the College World Series, you get a mullet.
I'll be in Mexico if they win the College World Series, and I will gladly go to the barbershop at the resort, and I'm like, I want lines, I want the mullet, and I'm just going to fat back it with a hat the whole time.
Just show them a picture of Billy Ray Cyrus. So I want that.
I want that. Richard, Walker in Houston says, go grab a bottle of Pedialyte, drink the whole thing. Professional drinkers pack it with them for trips like this.
They got Powerades in the press box. I'm going to have like 4 or 5 of those before first pitch.
Can I reiterate one thing?
It wasn't that
Olin
bad.
got on this radio program and lied to America. He was fibbing, Dalton. He's an East Texas fibber, and he can hear me through that wall right there. I know he can. He's on a radio spot in Austin right now. He's lying. He's a liar.
TexAgs Airbnb studio full of media appearances this morning, including Ryan Browninger, Richard Zane here on TexAgs Radio. We'll come back. We'll dive into the keys of this matchup with Oklahoma. Do something. As the boys know, we've got 2 more segments to kill. And I hosted all week while you guys went to Omaha, so you guys are going to do them with me. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Bobby Knight and Bill Belichick have both stared him down.
The party don't stop.
It's David Nuno on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on the Zone.
For years, you've heard me say, we'll show you how to make mowing as close to fun as it gets. Hi, this is David Hogan with Kyrish, inviting you to come out and check our inventory of Ferris zero-turn mowers with full suspension. The zeros are still in effect with 0 down and 0% interest on all zero-turn riding mowers in stock. Cut your mowing time in half with 0 down and 0% interest on all zero turns. Come see us at Kyrish Truck Center, Highway 21, half-mile east of the bypass in Bryant.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, what makes Rollo unique when dealing with small businesses?
Well, we're a business ourselves, and we grew from a notepad to 16 locations. And when you come from the perspective of doing it yourself, I think you understand what business owners face because we face the same things. Technology needs, dealing with those who are clients, as well as dealing with employees, agents. We understand because we're in the same boat, and that gives us a unique perspective in dealing with people and trying to help them.
For more information, go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
On Sports Talk, I visit with author Howard Bryant on his Ricky Henderson biography about all the talent that came out of the city of Oakland.
All of that migration and the talent that went with it all lived in the same place. So you had Frank Robinson from Texas and Joe Morgan from Texas and Kurt Flood from Texas and Bill Russell from Louisiana, Ricky, Lloyd Mosby from Arkansas. All of them ended up within 20 blocks of each other. It's just, it's an incredible amount of talent.
Sports Talk, it's an education. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on the Zone.
9:39 TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. What, Ryan Broninger?
What?
What a morning.
Yeah. Can you hear me? I don't know. Richard muted the mics, and I don't.
You're good.
Can you hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Well, Olin just walked in.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to give Olin a stone cold stunner.
What?
On air. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would have been awesome, for being honest. There he is.
Well,
Olin
I don't
Buchanan.
know. Yeah, he came into the living room to defend his honor after lying all morning.
It's okay. That's kind of what he does. One response we got to our tweet about give us your one key player for A&M this weekend in Omaha, College World Series. Cole Tenner, key player. Ryan Prager, taking the same guy that John Sheshik did yesterday. And he says his bold prediction, 7 through 9 in the order, hit 300 for the length of the trip in Omaha. If they hit 300 for the length of the trip in Omaha, Ryan, you're not getting home for a while.
Well, if they hit 300, but I think more with especially the 8 and 9 with Thompson and Kaler, I think if they're on base at a high clip, that bodes well, obviously, for the A&M offense. But why did Sheshik pick Prager?
So I phrased it the same way. It's for the weekend, right? Like in the week in Omaha, the duration. So Shesh is saying like, hey, I think he's going off of we know what we're going to get out of Detmer and Dallas in some form or fashion. Who's going to be that next guy that steps up? And that's why he went with Ryan Prager.
Okay. It was interesting. I mean, he's obviously going to have to start a game here if A&M does any kind of damage. And I think he and Wyatt Tucker are both, as you get into the tournament, will be kind of X factors for A&M starting pitching. But you don't even get to Ryan Prager unless Micah Dallas or Nathan Detmer have a really quality start here. So I like that pick, but it's definitely a down the road, something that A&M's got to look at and how Prager handles the moment. I like that he's pitching in, potentially a game 3, right? Like he'll have 2 full games, 18 innings of sitting there watching A&M go through their paces here in Omaha. And so maybe the moment, the shine of being at the College World Series will kind of wear off by the time he gets the ball.
Let's talk about that matchup tonight, this afternoon, not tonight. Game 1 in Omaha, Nebraska, guys. Nathan Detmer, Jake Bennett, Bronny. It's a pretty frontline pitching matchup to open things up in Omaha.
Yeah, Jake Bennett's super good, man. I don't know how much our listeners have watched or you've watched, Dalton. When you draw up a left-handed pitcher and what do you want him to look like and how you want him to throw, it's Jake Bennett. And he'll be, in the 90 to 95 range. I guess he'll be 90 to 94. He'll pop some 95s. Shows a good changeup. The scouting report has him as 2 different kind of breaking balls, so a slider and curveball, but it kind of plays the same. If you're a hitter, they very similar planes on the pitch. But man, he's a big giant joker that comes at you and competes really hard, and A&M's got to have their hands full.
When you talk about the pitching in the SEC being down this year at that front line level, is this the guy that they haven't this year, but on a normal basis in the SEC, A&M probably has seen 2 or 3 guys at this point?
I mean, there are guys in the SEC that are in that kind of realm that have that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know if they're starters, but like you look at some of the guys that Arkansas trots out of the bullpen or even Ole Miss, and you're really impressed. Auburn's got a really strong starting rotation that has come on in the back half of the year. But yeah, I mean, this guy's going to be as talented as anybody's A&M seen. This offense, how they go about their business, see a ton of pitches, wear guys down, grind out at bats, will be super important for this one game today. And A&M has kind of made their hay in the late innings in the last month or so, and they've been really good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But OU's got a closer that came in from Lamar, and I don't know how he ended up down there in Southeast Texas in Beaumont. I almost said the name of the school, how Dermdot calls it, but I don't know how he ended up at Lamar, but he's at Oklahoma now, and he has been lights out, and they'll hand him the ball in the 7th inning and tell him to go get 9 outs, and he's really good at it.
Richard, when you look at this A&M lineup, I know you've been at most of the games this year, and if not, watching at home. How do they handle a big lefty? Does that worry you at all compared to what they normally see?
I mean, Bronny's touching my leg. This first of all, he was tickling my foot. Now he's trying to touch my leg. That's very weird.
What is going on?
I would agree with the thing Olin told him yesterday in the car, Dalton. You know what I'm talking about.
No, we'll just keep going.
But back to baseball. So I think A&M is probably better against right-handed pitching. Jack Moss, obviously the left-handed hitter, he hits anybody, but the right on left definitely favors the left-handed hitter. Facing a lefty spins Ryan Targach to the right side, spins Cole Kaler to the right side. Targach, we saw him hit a home run last weekend from the right side, but he's got 15 on the year, only 5 of them from that side of the plate. So he's a much better left-handed hitter. He's got much more power from that side of the lineup as well. But to be completely honest with you, I think facing a lefty, facing a righty, A&M's going to grind out at bats and is going to hit anybody. Or, I mean,
they'll
be
compete with anybody, right? Like, even if they put up zeros for a few innings, like you've got to keep going against this A&M lineup. If you're a pitcher, like you can't take an inning off. Like, hey, I'm cruising. We saw it with TCU, man. They were going really good, and A&M found a way to get Austin Krob off the mound, and then exploded in the final inning. So, if you're an opposing team looking at A&M, it's like we can't let them come up for air. The way to beat this A&M team is to get on them early and do not give them any life to get back in the game. You go back to the SEC tournament in Hoover, it was 6-1 against Alabama and looking pretty bleak until Alabama gave A&M life. A couple of guys get on base, and Dylan Rock hits the 3-run, 2-out homer. And all of a sudden it's 6-4, and then the ball starts rolling and you can't stop it. That's kind of how A&M's operated, especially in the middle of the late innings this year. I think in an ideal world, Dalton, you look up in the second inning and it's 5-0 A&M, but they haven't played that way all year. So why would they start now? But their style of play is not good for the old ticker. It's not good for the pulse, the pucker factor, but that's the way they do it, right? Like, I'm sure Jim Schlossnagle would love a 5-0 lead and Nathan Detmer gets you into the 6th or 7th inning. Like, he said it before, like, he's like, when's the last time we played like an easy 8-2 game? They had one against Oral Roberts.
They didn't. I mean, they poured it on late.
Yeah. It was a 10-0, I guess, Florida. You have to go back to Florida. Like, they don't play games that way. So these are going to be some nail biters in Austin if the entirety of the year has taught us anything.
Guys, Bronny, let's ask you, Coach Broninger. Some people call you Coach. They're probably smart people.
Wait. Brian Broninger coaches baseball?
He does.
What?
I'm about to slap the taste out of his mouth.
I would.
Taste's already gone.
Jake Bennett is a strike thrower. If you're Michael Early, do you change that approach at all? And, we've seen this team.
Not.
You stay with the grinded out mode, right? Like, this is what this team does.
They like to take first pitches. They get you behind in counts sometimes. Obviously, there are some guys in the lineup where you're going to go, hey, be aggressive early, especially to your half of the plate. Get a barrel, get us going early in innings, get leadoff guys on. But you don't change something. You don't go outside of yourself when you're 60 games in and you've been as successful as they've been. They're the best offense in the SEC during conference play. They've been really good so far in the postseason. I don't think that you try to change anything. And then look, like, wasn't a great weekend last weekend in the Super for Dylan Rock, Austin Bose, and Ryan Targach. And I'd bet on those guys coming through with runners on this week. They're too good of hitters for that to happen in back-to-back weeks.
Richard?
I agree with everything Ryan said.
All right. Well, you've been great.
Pretty much all I got, man. I'm sorry I'm not very much help in keeping the ball rolling.
You've been fantastic this morning,
Richard. I am struggling just to get through the morning.
Let's do this. Hey.
But thanks to Jamie Maury gave me some Advil, so I'm good to go. I'll be good to go in a couple hours.
Oh, gosh. All right, hey, let's do this. Bronny, one guy in the lineup today that you got your eyes on, and then one guy in the back end of the bullpen that between today and Sunday is going to be big for this team.
You said the back end of the bullpen?
Yeah.
Olin was yelling. The great East Texas liar was yelling. I couldn't hear the back half of the question.
This show is off the rails today. Go ahead. Talk baseball.
What did you say?
I said I want someone in the lineup today that you think will help
Not you,
them.
Olin.
Will help them against Jake Bennett, and then someone in the back end. Who's that name in the back end of the bullpen that you see out of the Palish, the Rudis, the Menifee? Who's it going to be today? Is there a difference with this lineup for Oklahoma that says, hey, it probably is going to be that guy?
Well, I like Palish and I like Rudis in the bullpen because they filled their position so well. And so does Moo, right? But I think they're going to hand the ball to Jacob Palish if the game's on the line, just because of his experience and being here. And that's the guy that's been he's been your best win. He's been your game winner in the bullpen for the last couple of weeks. So I would expect Palish and Rudis to get a call with what Oklahoma wants to do, especially if it's tight late. They're going to want to bunt. They're going to want to push the running game and push the tempo. So you're going to want a guy out there that can field his positions. But and also they're strike throwers, right? You don't want a team that wants to steal bases and wants to run. You don't want to put them on first base. Like, make them hit it to get out there. And I think Palish and Rudis and Moo are great strike throwers. And then offensively, man, I'm looking at Jordan Thompson. I think his ability to turn the lineup over, he and Cole Kaler, like, how often do they get on base against Jake Bennett? I think I'll be watching for that. And then kind of how does A&M handle RBI opportunities early in the game if they get them? They were bad with them last week. They got to be better. Crooked numbers and against a team that wants to bunt and play for one run, crooked number innings are enormous. They're huge. Can you get a crooked number early?
Can I go off the beaten path and tell you my lineup guy that I'm all for you shooting holes? I was trying to create discussion, but I mean this. I think Cole Kaler's your guy. I want to see Cole Kaler turn the lineup over, right? We talk about that a lot in baseball, and I know you talk about that's why they like Cole in the 9-hole. Can we get it back to Trevor Werner and Jack Moss with runners on?
Yeah, Cole will play a super important role, and we've said it kind of the entirety of the year. When you look at his numbers, you got to start counting some of the walks as base hits, right? Like, don't look at his batting average, look at his on base percentage. And Cole getting on base today would be an enormous deal. And he's hitting right-handed where, talking to some team sources, they feel like he hits the ball harder right-handed. Even though all of his home runs are from the left side, they feel like he's more consistently on the barrel right-handed and stays through the middle of the field a little bit better right-handed. So I'll be interested to see how, I think Cole's a good call, but look, man, I picked Jordan Thompson because he's kind of an off the beaten path pick. You ain't going to win this game getting nothing from Rock, Boast, and Targac. Those guys in the middle are going to have to produce and get the big hit. And again, I'd bet money on them, man.
Agreed. All right, that's Ryan Browninger and Richard Zane. We come back. Zane, you've got 3 minutes. Come up with a bank on it. I'm asking you to do 2 more things today, and then you can rest before you get to the ballpark. So we'll do that.
He looks terrible.
He does.
I feel terrible.
He looks it.
I feel terrible.
We're all proud of you. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
The heat is on, and so are the sales, and so is the great website there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. So I've been telling you guys about this old vehicle we have. It's finally over. It's time to say goodbye. So we talked to Zach Hester several times, and Zach sent us a couple of different options. We checked it out, and we think we found the one. That's the beauty of Caldwell Country Chevrolet, because they will help you find the vehicle that's right for you. Not the one that the salesman's trying to sell to you. No, he wants to sell you this one, that one. No, what they do at Caldwell Country is they want to find what your needs are, what your family situation is like, and what you need the vehicle for, and they're going to find you the right vehicle. It's a great place to go to find the best deals and a great trade-in value as well when you go out there. It is Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, and online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Remember, it's an easy drive, 15 minutes, Bryan to Caldwell, short conversation away. But you're going to see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Brazos Valley African American Heritage and Cultural Society is hosting the Juneteenth celebration in Bryan. Saturday morning, starting at 10, there's a parade from Kemp Carver Elementary to Sadie Thomas Park. Then you can stick around for celebration in the park from noon until 3. And Saturday evening from 6 to 10 is a blues fest in downtown Bryan. Stage Center Theater in downtown Bryan invites you to see Steel Magnolias, Robert Harling's play about 6 sassy women navigating life through the good times and bad. Performances run June 9th through the 25th. Purchase tickets at stagecenter.net. Award-winning storyteller Tony Simmons is speaking at the Brazos Valley African American Museum on Thursday, June 30th at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Spend Thursday with Louie and barbecue pitmaster Bryce Jones on the Louie Bellina Show presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Bryce joins Louie in the Charles Schwab studio every Thursday from noon till 1. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
JH Paving and Construction would like to salute everyone who is serving our great country. To the men and women who have helped to uphold and strengthen all that is guaranteed to us through the Constitution. Our thoughts and prayers are with you as you defend our freedom. This message is from the crew at JH Paving and Construction, serving the area for all your asphalt, paving, and concrete needs. Quality professional work. JH Paving and Construction, thanking our military this 4th of July holiday.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cash Back Match. Now to recap and say cash back one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Everything in life has rules, and the Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com.
Zone1150.com.
$9:56, closing out hour number 2 here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Ryan Browninger, Richard Zane joining from Omaha, Nebraska for the College World Series. A&M Oklahoma here in about 3 hours. Right now, guys, got a few minutes left. Let's bank on it. Let's make one prediction, each of you, for the Aggies in Omaha this weekend. We'll start with the one who's actually been great to talk to this morning, Ryan Browninger.
Yeah, I was going to take the low-hanging fruit and say something about Jack Moss, but I'm going to go, my bank on it is Jim Schlossnagle makes a managerial decision to help A&M win a game this week.
Big one, Richard Zane.
Like a 3-2, bring somebody in like you did with Palace.
Like we're all going to be sitting. We're all
maybe
gonna be
a little bit off the beaten path. What's that?
We're all going to be sitting there, hot dog city, at the decision he makes.
Yeah. I mean, Glizzy City, right? Like
Jaws on
Glizzy.
No, so you're changing the name of our municipality.
No, I mean, Glizzies are hot dogs, so we're okay.
Richard, what you got? Bank on it.
All right, you gave me 3 minutes, so I came up with 3. 1, this is Bronny's. Jack Moss is going to get a hit. 2, I'm going to spend more money on souvenirs. I got to buy my mama shirt still. And 3, Texas A&M wins their first game in the College World Series since 1993. Bank on it. Book it.
You going to get me a souvenir?
Yeah, what do you want?
I don't care.
I got you a koozie. What?
What do you want? Text me what you want. Oh, also, JB Moss said he was going to text me and buy him a shirt or something, but he didn't hit me up.
If you're listening, Jibbers, text him. All right, guys, thanks so much. Richard, you got one more on the other side. I hope you've got around Aggie Land ready. We'll roll through that real quickly. Probably hear a little bit of Schloss from his presser yesterday as well. And then Scotty C on the phone lines at 10:20. Aaron Torres, 10:35. What you got, meat man?
I didn't think that I could be disappointed in Richard because of my low expectations, but I'm disappointed in his performance.
Dude, it's been bad. I'm so sorry,
he's one of those
guys.
that if you're perpetually disappointed in, he never lets you down. That's what I do. That's what I do with him. All right, guys, thanks so much, Bronny. Appreciate it. Y'all have fun at the ballpark. All right, when we come back on TexAgs Radio, it's Around Aggie Land with Richard Zane. We'll do that and more. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, well, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Texas. In almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
This message presented by the Texas University Interscholastic League and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association, reminding you to always practice good sportsmanship.
Paul Feinbaum is SEC country, and Aggieland is too. Listen in to Paul weekday afternoons 2 to 4 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE, College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. An employee of a propane gas supplier is in the hospital after 3 propane tanks caught fire yesterday in North Bryan. Bryan Deputy Fire Marshal Gerald Burnett says a flash fire started as the victim was filling tanks at WC Tractor at the freeway in Tabor Road. Burnett says there are 3 potential ignition sources. The fire was out before firefighters arrived. Burnett said there was some fire damage to the steel building, but not enough to close the business. It's been 2 years since a Bryan man was arrested by College Station police for taking almost $3,700 of tires from a warehouse. The Brazos County District Attorney's Office and 59-year-old Kenneth Mooring entered a plea agreement that includes a 4-year prison sentence and paying restitution. A College Station police officer directing traffic away from Wednesday's crash that closed Harvey Mitchell Parkway arrested a driver for DWI with 2 prior convictions. According to the CSPD arrest report, an SUV was going so slow that other vehicles started going around. The officer learned from another motorist that the driver was passed out while the SUV was moving. After the SUV hit an orange traffic barrel and the officer was banging on the window, the driver woke up. After failing field sobriety tests, 30-year-old Garrett Fink of College Station was arrested. A WTAW listener receives a letter about a data security issue at CHI hospitals and clinics, which includes Bryan-based St. Joseph Health.
The identity theft was reported by the third-party company hired by CHI, Seattle, Washington-based MCG Health. MCG, assisted by the FBI, is looking for whoever took personal information that includes social security numbers, dates of birth, postal addresses, and telephone numbers. A St. Joseph spokesman provided no additional comment to MCG's letter. Bill Oliver, 1620, 94.5 WTAW.
For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Family-owned Dixie Tire Company is your authorized Mastercraft and Cooper tire dealer. Need tires for your car, truck, tractor, trailer, lawnmower, or even your wheelbarrow? Dixie Tire Company has them. Need a certain brand of custom wheels or auto accessories or truck lift kits? Need a flat repair, tire and wheel rotation, or tire pressure sensor repaired or replaced? Dixie Tire can help. Serving the BCS for over 30 years at 301 West William J. Bryan Parkway, across from the fire station. Open Monday through Fridays until 6 and Saturdays till 1. Call them at 775-TIRE.
Experience life and save at Moody Gardens. Introducing Rainforest of the World Dynamic Dwellers. As small creatures are doing big things in the Rainforest Pyramid. Dip into coastal life at the Aquarium Pyramid, Palm Beach, Beats on the Beach, the Colonel Paddle Wheel Boat, and dinner cruises. This August, have the time of your life at the Island Rideout and Bike Expo, Air Car and Boat Show, and a Dive Expo. Save with a value pass to Moody Gardens attractions, hotel and golf packages, and enjoy free Saturday fireworks. Island life at its best. Save at moodygardens.org.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. Today is the day that Texas A&M baseball kicks off its College World Series run in Omaha. First up will be a showdown with old Big 12 foe Oklahoma, catcher Troy Claunch on the Sooners.
I mean, any team you face here is going to be extremely good, so he talks about it all the time. They're either really good, really hot, or both, right? And I would say that Oklahoma is both right now. So, you know, we'll dive into scouting report stuff more tomorrow. Not super caught up